I think we are made of our stories and the stars. And I'm so happy to share my profound story with you here right now. It is summer. I've traded my linen-gowned wanders through the forest communing with the spring ephemerals for sun-drenched idles at the lakefront. Those delicate spring ephemerals in the forest have vanished under the canopy of green from the trees, and my gaze turns towards flowers in the garden. And my story begins. Once upon a time, the passing of my father last winter and my memory of seeing him ascend and turn into a star in the sky are a distant dream now. Not long after his passing, I was visited by a dryad in one of my journeys. The dryad directed me to some stones, but he didn't explain why, and they remained a mystery to me. I also continued to wonder, was my father okay on the other side? Was there something I could do to help? And could I please be shown a sign? Sometime during this dream-soaked period, I was awoken from a dream. In my dream, I was looking at a book full of circular symbols. I touched one, and it turned to a stone. I noted how it looked in my dream. It was rough-cut gray with a little touch of red, 2 flat sides. Not a stone I owned, or one that I had even seen before. The dream was so powerful, I couldn't sleep. I got up and bustled around the house and sat in meditation, and finally decided I needed to learn to samba, and then I went back to sleep. In my next dreaming session, I dreamed I smelled an incredible fragrance I had never smelled before. It was like a fig, sort of fruity flower smell that doesn't even exist on this planet. And I thought, is it from Atlantis maybe, or another planet? Well, no matter. I was once again awoken, and this time by a text from my dear friend of Creative Sage Cottage. And she said, "Hi, it's your crazy friend Heather. I have to bring you something today. Are you around?" And I said, "Of course." Well, I knew at that point it was going to be the stone. Several hours later, Heather showed up. She did indeed have the stone, which made me cry immediately. It looked exactly like the stone in my dream. She also had for me a jar of incense. In the incense were cedar branches, among other things like dragon's blood. Heather told me she also had a dream, and in her dream she walked into a basement rec room, and there sitting on 3 stools were 3 men, and then over to the side was an elderly lady. The man had a pompadour haircut. I knew immediately it was my father, and it was an image of one of my favorite pictures of him. The men were happy and laughing, and when the one man with the pompadour type hairstyle turned to face Heather, he had a picture of me on his shirt, and they were passing around a photograph, a framed picture, and when she went to look at the framed picture, all of the people became stars in the night sky and descended as balls of cedar balls. This is when she felt motivated to go to her special shop and find this rock for me, which is actually petrified wood, aka my dryad, the cedar tree spirit. She brought these to me and we both marveled. I showed her the picture of my father, who was the man that she saw, and she said, "Your father was in my dream." My father, who was happily with his father and his brother and his mother, and they had become stars in the sky. What's also interesting about this dream imagery is that my grandfather used to joke when we were children that they had a stool waiting up there for him. And we always wondered what that meant, a stool sitting in the sky. And as an adult, I realized it was a bar stool. So there they were, sitting on bar stools on the other side, laughing and carrying on. The message Heather got from this for me was to tell me that he was all right and I needn't worry anymore. And also that I was the end of a line of ancestral healing. And perhaps this has something to do with my sense of smell, my loss of smell. And I was not to worry about it anymore. Following this experience, I began to research the cedar tree and discovered it is a magical tree representing our ancestry. In my ancestors' honor, especially my father, I planted a cedar tree in my yard. Underneath the tree is a cat, for he was a Leo and loved cats. A small Mexican sculpture called an aluche, which is a Mayan fairy. And also a flag, as he and his immigrant parents were great patriots. The cedar is a member of the cypress family and has been used for centuries, as long as we know, as medicinals, curing all sorts of infections and also to help detox. A powerful and sacred tree and healer. We are happy to know you, Cedar. I've wondered why this message from the stars and from the dryads had to come to me through someone else, through Heather. But I guess it confirmed the reality of it. This really happened. And perhaps we're meant to remember we're made of stars and our stories, but to dance here on the earth, be in our bodies, and connect with others, and allow the mystery to unfold. If it feels right, I encourage you to connect with Heather at her Creative Sage Cottage here in Southwest Michigan. She can do mojo bags and tarot readings. She has this lovely store full of pendulums, art, books, dried flowers, herbs, incense, and of course,